Welcome to Wendy's Creative Space. I am back with another hair bow tutorial, and this time it's inspired in none other than Queen Barb from Trolls World Tour. If you want to know how I created this bow, including this shaker bow, please don't forget to subscribe and give my video a thumbs up. And let's thank my daughter because she had been asking for this bow and I finally made it. And without further ado, if you want to know how I created this bow, please keep on watching. Per my intro, we are making a Queen Barb from Trolls inspired bow. I found these stickers at the Dollar Tree, so I thought they were a great opportunity to use them to make this bow. All right, I'm grabbing my ribbon. I only had 16 inches long left of this black ribbon. I didn't want to buy any more ribbon, so I'm going to be using this. I'm going to start by folding this in half, so I'm going to have two 8-inch strips, and we are going to move on to start gluing this together. Grab one of your 8-inch long strips of ribbon, fold it in half, make a crease just like that, and now we're gonna glue the two ends to that middle part that we marked on that crease. So put some hot glue on it. Now we are going to start gluing it in just like that, both pieces. Don't burn yourself, please. And we're gonna push them together to make sure they are glued. Before it dries down, I'm going to fold those two pieces in and then my two ends down, and that's gonna leave us with one pretty ribbon. And we're gonna do the same process for both of the 8-inch pieces of ribbon, just like that, adding more glue on it. Make sure you're squishing them together so they don't come undone. And if you're like me and you don't want to sit there and hold this ribbon until it dries, if you have extra clips, extra of the bow clips, just go ahead and grab them and use them to clip down the pieces so you don't have to sit there and wait until it dries. Call me lazy or smart because I'm not gonna sit there and wait until it dries. And also I'm gonna do the same to the other 8-inch piece, and there we have them, both of the pieces ready. Now I'm gonna grab some hot glue and I'm gonna glue my two little bows together to make one big piece, just like that. And the same thing, I am going to clip both of these so I don't have to sit there and I can move on with the process. All right, now we're gonna set this bow to the side and we're gonna move on to the next step. I had this beautiful colorful boa that I also got from Hobby Lobby, and I thought it was a great opportunity to use it as well. If you've seen the Trolls movie like I have, like millions of times because my daughter loves that movie, you know that they wear very colorful stuff, and in general the whole movie is so colorful, and I thought it was great to use this one so it complements the whole vibe. And so I'm gonna grab this piece, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was 8 inches long. So using this, it's a little bit messy, the little feathers go everywhere, but you know, I love this thing, so I'm gonna use it. I believe it was 8 to 9 inches long, but you know, if you make this bow or you want to use this, just make sure that you cut it big enough to cover whatever part of your bow you want. In this case, this part is gonna go on the bottom, but anyway, let's move on. Okay, so I'm adding glue to one of the ends, and then I'm grabbing the other end and I am gluing them together. Now these hairs are not very stable, but you know, it works for what I need it, because at the end I'm gonna tie the whole thing together, so it's gonna be great. But I'm squishing them just to make sure that they are at least a little bit holding on to each other. I'm using another clip to hold them in place, and let's move on. All right, now I am going to grab my piece that it's already dried, and I'm going to make a number 8 shape. So I'm just like grabbing it, squishing it down, and makes a number 8. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm hoping it does, but if not, just look at what I'm doing and you do the same. All right, now I'm gonna grab some thread to tie my little boa together, and that way it stays in place. So I'm grabbing a clip. I made the number 8 shape, and now I'm gonna grab my thread, putting it at the bottom, and I'm going to tie it. I did 2 or 3 knots on it just to make sure that it's going to be secure and that it doesn't move around, just like that. I'm just making sure that this is not gonna be moving around too much. Again, I am gonna tie all the pieces together at the end, so it should be fine, but I don't want it to be moving around. All right, now that I made the little boa secure, I am going to put that to the side, and we are moving on to the next step. Okay, I'm so excited about this. I got this plastic sheets from Amazon. I will link the information below. I've been dying to make a shaker bow, and I thought making this bow was a great opportunity because it's such a fun bow. And so I got this sheets that I'm gonna be using. I have this stencil that I use for my past blue bow, I believe, and if not, I am so sorry, but if you haven't seen it, I will also link that below. I am cutting 2 pieces of this plastic sheets. I am using 2 pieces of this sheet because the idea is to seal them together to create a little pouch that is going to be holding my little beads and my little glitter. Before I move on, I'm going to start heating up my tool. I got this from JOANN'S. I will also link it below. It was a little pricey, but I feel like I'm going to be using it a lot since I do make a lot of bows. Yay, now I'm moving to the fun part. I'm making the shaker that is gonna go inside this little pouch, and I'm mixing these glitters and little beads and little sequins. I picked colors that go with the colors that Queen Barb wears in the movie, or most of the movie. I did added a couple of things like those little butterflies. They were just so cute that I just wanted to use them. I don't think in the movie she wears anything this colorful, but or there towards the end. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling the movie, but I'm adding all these colorful little thingies that I had. A lot of this stuff I got it from the Dollar Tree, like little beads and the little what are those called, sequins. I got them from the Dollar Tree, and it comes in a pack with different ones. Look at all this colorful glitter. I love it. As you can see, it also has some stars that have nothing to do with Queen Barb, but hey, it's all about getting it all colorful. The movie is all colorful, so why not? And I'm just adding a little bit more of this reddish glitter, and I'm mixing the whole thing together. Now it's time to put that to the side, and I'm grabbing my stencil, and I'm grabbing my 2 clear plastic sheets that I cut previously, and so they don't move around, I'm going to tape them to this just white page that I had. I'm gonna tape it so it's not moving around because I'm gonna be using this engraving tool that I am using to seal these together. I've seen videos on people using it for that, and I am going to give it a try. And I'm not gonna lie, this was hard. To be honest, this was my 3rd attempt on making this, and it's one of those things that I have to practice to get better at it, and I think it turned out great if you ask me. But anyway, this thing is really hot, and if you end up buying something like this, just be super careful to not burn yourself. But honestly, it was very fun to use this. And I'm just basically, the little stencil is at the bottom. I'm tracing around the stencil and just making sure that I am doing it slowly to make sure that both of my little plastic sheets are gluing together, or I guess sealing together with this heat tool. And I'm just going over what I already glued to make sure that everything is going to be sealed, and once it's sealed it should come off easily. But yeah, so all I'm doing is just making these 2 pieces glue together. All right, now I'm putting that to the side. It's time to see if this last one actually worked. which by the way, it did work, but it was my third attempt. So I'm removing that slowly, carefully, and at this point it's pretty easy to pull my little pouch apart, because I did went back a couple of times to make sure that it was all the way cut through. And by the way, if you're doing this, make sure you leave one of those ends open, because that's what you're gonna use to stuff your little shaker bow. And that's exactly what I'm doing, just cutting that part that was still together, because it was not glued, or I guess sealed, but that's all I'm doing. And look at that. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but I'm going back and just making sure that the edges are as smooth as possible, and that's all I'm gonna be doing. Now that I am happy with this, I am going to move on to stuffing my little bow, and I am using this nail file that I had on hand that I didn't really use for that. It doesn't even work. It was like something really cheap that I bought one day, and it didn't end up working. But anyway, I'm grabbing this piece of paper and making it into a funnel, and I am just mixing my little shaker stuffer thingies so to make sure that it's all well mixed. And now it's time to stuff it. Yay! I'm so excited. This is looking so pretty. I love how this looks. And slowly I'm going to start pulling the little funnel out, making sure that I don't bring all that stuff out. And with the nail filer, I'm shoving those little things in. Look at that. It looks so cool. All right, now I'm gonna grab my little piece of cardboard to sit it on top, because it's time to add Little Miss Queen Barb. Originally, I was going to put 2 inside, 1 on each side of this bow, but I forgot. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot, and I didn't do it, so it's only on one side, but hey, it's okay. It's all good. So now I'm grabbing my nail filer again to keep it open, and now that I sticked my little sticker inside, look at that. So cute. Now it's time to seal it. By the way, if you use this tool, use it on top of something that doesn't get burned. I don't even know what that would be, but make sure it's a smooth area. I am using this cardboard lid that I had, and I am just sealing it. And because the little sticker was a little bit bumpy, it didn't let it seal correctly, so I'm having to put my fingers super close to this to make sure that it stays closed and it doesn't try to open while I'm trying to seal this. But luckily I didn't get burned, but I did have to be super careful. Oh my goodness, I am done with this. Look at that. It's so pretty. It does shake. I am so happy. It looks so cute. Little Miss Queen Barb inside. All right, now we are grabbing our 3 pieces, and it's time to glue them together. Yay! Okay, so I'm gonna start by gluing my boa to the bottom of the bow. So I'm grabbing my glue gun, adding some glue on it, making sure it's enough, because this little boa, it's a little bit flimsy, so I want to make sure that all the little hairs grab onto it. Okay, now we're grabbing it, and I'm picking which side I want to use, and I am gluing it on top. Squish it together, make sure it's all glued together. And now I decided to add a little bit of fun to the shaker bow in the front, and this little piece is red, and her outfit, she's a rock star, so you know, it's red colors, dark colors. So I'm gonna glue this little piece onto the shaker bow to give it more of a wow effect, because I mean, the shaker bow by itself, it's pretty, but I don't know, I just think this adds this little something that I needed, and it goes super well with the colors I'm using. All right, just squish it together again, clip it in place, All right, now I decided that I needed to tie my boa and my black bow together, so I grabbed this little red piece of ribbon that I had, and all I'm gonna do is just glue it onto it. I'm adding a little bit more glue to the boa and the black bow because it seemed a little bit loose and I don't want that. All right, now I'm gonna grab my clip, and before I move on to the little ribbon piece that I grabbed, I'm gonna glue the clip because this clip needs to be secure as well, and that little red piece of ribbon is going to hold them in place. All right, now I grabbed my ribbon and it was too wide, so I'm basically just folding it in half to make it thinner. I didn't have a thinner red ribbon, so you know, we use what we got, and just clip it. And before you move on, just make sure that it is very tight in there. So I am going to start by grabbing my shorter piece down first, not that one that it's over the black bow yet, but the other one that we clipped in first. So I'm gonna start by adding the hot glue on it and make sure it's very secure before I tug on it to make sure everything's tight. So yeah, so let's grab our glue gun, add some glue, glue it down. There you go, just like that. Hold it in place for a few seconds to make sure it dries down. And now that longer strip, tie really good the two pieces together to make sure they're not gonna go anywhere. And now it's time to glue that piece. That's right, tug on it, make sure it's secure. Now I glued that piece down, and this bow already looks so good. All right, now it is time we add the fun part. I am adding a little bit more glue just to make sure that the little boa is going to stay in that shaker bow and it's not gonna go anywhere, and it's looking so cute. Look at that. That looks pretty just by itself, but you know, I am extra with my daughter's bow, so I'm gonna add, you know, more to it. All right, now we are going to glue that last piece down just like so, and push down, make sure everything is gluing down. Look at that. And yeah, I'm adding another clip to make sure that it stays in place. And this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I think this bow turned out beautiful. I will show you some pictures of this bow. Ta-da! And here's the pictures that I promised. Please let me know what you think. My daughter loved it. She had been asking me for this bow for a while now, and here we are. I loved it. I think it's so pretty and unique, if you ask me. I mean, of course I made it, but if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you on the next DIY. Bye.